Hello. Today's recipe is pork cutlets. I really like this one. It's fairly easy to make. I haven't done something fried for a while, so it's not deep fried, it's pan fried. So what you need is you need one piece of pork tenderloin. Now, you can take the membrane off briefly if you want. It will interfere with the flattening. You don't have to do too much of it. Just the silver part. You can actually leave that on. This is actually the tendon. So just cut that off first so you'll get nicer cutlets. Okay, that's good enough. Let's put that off to the side. Now I make 8 with this. So what you do is you just kind of even it out and eyeball it. You don't need a big knife for this. And cut it into approximately 8 equal pieces. Now, so that's the first step. And what I'm going to do, you'll need a couple of Ziplocs for this. And I might as well read off the rest of the ingredients. I use biscuit mix. You can use flour with a bit of baking soda, baking powder. I prefer this because it's got everything in it and I don't have to worry about it too much. I've got some spices that I'm going to spice the biscuit mix. I've got a couple of eggs. The milk is in the fridge. And I need a couple of Ziploc bags. So I'll start with this. So get one of your nicer pieces at the beginning. You actually don't even have to seal this, just kind of put it in about the middle. Get your mallet. And just smack it till it's cutlet sized. You want these thin because you want them to cook quickly. Alright, all the cutlets are prepared, as you can see here. Okay, so they're all that thin. Next step, oh, I did forget one thing, please excuse me. One of the most important ingredients you're going to need for this is breadcrumbs. Now, for those that watch the bread stuffing movie, you'll remember that I was going to make breadcrumbs after with the crusts. These are some of what's left. So I'm going to be using this for the cutlet. I've already got the biscuit mix in here, and I put in my seasonings. So just give that a little shake. Okay? And what you do, these don't shake really well, so I just do these by hand. And I use the bag to avoid making a huge mess everywhere. But what you want to do is, I'm going to show you one that has just got the bread mix, okay? There's the biscuit mix, and it didn't pick up much, okay? So what you'll want to do, depending on how moist the pork is get some milk. And just dip it in a bit of milk first, drain it, and then put that in the biscuit mix. And just get in there with your hands and tamp it down. Of course, it goes without saying that you wash your hands very well before you've done this. Okay, now you can see that the cutlet that was dipped in milk picks up a lot more, so you're going to have a much evener, a much more even consistency on the breading. So I'm actually going to re-dip this and redo that. Okay, all the cutlets have the biscuit mix on. I'm having a tongue impairment today, saying things like flounder for flour. I don't know why. I'm doing this after work. That's probably why. Now I started off with approximately ½ cup of milk. This is how much is left. I started off with 1 cup of biscuit mix, and about this much is left. So what I'm going to do now, off camera, is I'm going to put the 2 eggs in here and whip them. And I'm going to take 1 cup of the breadcrumbs and add it to the flour mix and shake it up. That's going to be the next step. Alright, so I've got the beaten eggs with the rest of the milk. And I have got the breadcrumbs with the remainder of the biscuit, mixed in with the remainder of the biscuit mix. Now you'll notice I've gotten rid of the other plate and I have a cookie cooling rack now. The reason for this is okay at this stage that you've got these dumped on each other, but after you've got them with the egg and the breadcrumbs, you want them to set properly, and you want them to set probably for at least 10 or 15 minutes before you fry them to make sure that you get an intact breading on these, and for that you do not want these sitting on top of each other, okay? So I'm just going to do the first one here to show you. Now, you can either just shake the bag around, or again, with clean hands, what I do is I will get into, I wonder if you can see that, okay? Just get the moistened cutlet in, there you go. So there's a finished one that I'll just leave here, and I'll do one more for you. Yeah, don't forget, dip it thoroughly in the mixture of the milk and 2 eggs. Drain it. There's no good way to show this. I gotta get another camera angle. Okay, drain it, drop it into the seasoned breadcrumbs, shake it around a bit. Get in with your hands, pop some if you have to. If you got some extra damp pieces, just pick up some of the breadcrumbs and push them into the surface of the cutlet. You can do this in a plate too. It's actually quite easy on a plate. However, on a plate it tends to make a huge mess everywhere, which it does not in the Ziploc. You got very minimal cleanup here after. Alright, so I've got my nice big frying pan here. I think it's the first time you've seen it. And all my cutlets are prepared and ready to go. The oil is hot. So place the cutlets in the oil. Might have to turn that up just a titch. You don't want the oil so hot that it's going to spatter. Okay? Yeah, it's sizzling. This pan is big enough that I can do them all at once. So I'll set these in here. Now, the amount of oil that you're going to need is determined by the size of your pan. Basically, what you just want is enough oil to comfortably pan fry all these. These will not burn. You also don't want the oil to get so cold that it soaks it up too much. Okay? If these were much thicker, it really would drop the temperature of the oil and they'd get quite greasy. But at this thickness, it should be okay. This good mix will make bubbles in the oil, pretty big ones. So after your cutlets have been blowing bubbles for a couple of minutes there, yeah, that's just a nice color you want. The breadcrumbs, the excess breadcrumbs will turn brown in the bottom, but you don't want them to turn black. Okay? So just quickly get all your cutlets turned. Let them fry for another minute or two until they're the same color on the other side. And what you do at the end is just drain them on some paper towels, or the rack again with the paper towel underneath it to get the excess grease off, and you're ready to go. As you notice from here, I'll just tip the pan so you can see, okay? These are not absorbing a lot of grease. This is why you want to make sure that the temperature stays at a good temperature for the fry. And just make sure the batter doesn't burn. These are nearly done. I'm going to be draining these and plating these up soon. So, once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again.